In Princess Sunshine's country, everybody was very happy on that day. Until they noticed a boat that had washed up on the shore and was in pieces. Sunshine was very surprised by what she saw. Firstly, she looked around to see if there was anyone in the boat that might need her help, but she didn't see anyone. And then, when she lifted one of the pieces of broken wood, she saw an injured young girl lying underneath it. "Give me your hand, dear." The young girl stretched out her injured hand as far as she could and was taken away from the wreckage by Sunshine. "Thank you very much." "What has happened to you? Where did you come from?" I come from very far away. Actually, I'm a princess, but the Witch Queen has taken over my kingdom. And while I was fighting her, she sent me to the middle of the sea with a spell. And out there, my boat was broken into pieces. How am I going to get home now?" "Don't worry, we're going to fix your boat." "But how are we going to do that?" "My princess friends are going to help us." The young girl and Sunshine returned to the palace together. While the young girl was eating for the first time in a while, Sunshine first went and knocked on Cinderella's door to ask for help from the kind-hearted princess she knew. When Cinderella heard about what happened, she gave her some planks made from a special tree as well as some resin to stick them together. Sunshine was very happy about this. After that, she went to visit Rapunzel. When she told her about the young girl's situation, Rapunzel gave a lock of her very strong hair to help fix the boat again. "Take this. It's the strongest hair you'll find in the whole world. The sails and ropes of the boat are going to be very strong." Sunshine gratefully took the hair she offered and then went to visit Snow White. And Snow White felt very sorry for the young girl whose boat had been destroyed. She wanted to give her a magic compass in the shape of an apple. If she used this, then the boat would never lose its way. And no matter what, it would guide her safely back to where she had come from. Finally, Sunshine went to talk to Mermaid Aria. And Aria gave her a couple of very big seashells. And she said that with these seashells, the boat could very easily escape from horrible sea monsters and dangerous waves that might threaten her. The next day, Sunshine rebuilt the young girl's boat so strongly and beautifully all on her own, with the materials that she had been collecting, that the poor girls started crying tears of joy. "There's still a bit of Rapunzel's hair left over, so take it with you, and when you least expect it, it'll come in quite useful." The young girl thanked her from the bottom of her heart and set off immediately. Although after a while, lightning began to flash in the sky, and she found herself in the middle of a strong storm. But thanks to the compass she was given, she did not lose her way. And what's more, the new sail on her ship was still completely intact. Later on, terrible sea monsters came out of the water and tried to tip the boat over. Fortunately, the seashells did a very good job of protecting the boat, and it survived the monsters without capsizing. And then the huge waves that came afterwards were not able to sink the boat, thanks to the strong wood. When the young girl set foot again on the land of her country, the Witch Queen was standing there waiting for her.
"I didn't think you'd be able to make it, young girl, but it's a little too late. I'm the queen now."
"I am stronger than you think, you horrible evil witch." The witch tried to send an evil spell ball to the young girl. However, the young girl managed to change the direction of the spell by lifting up the magic compass in her pocket. Because of that, the witch was left defenseless. And then at that very moment, the young girl tied the witch with Rapunzel's strong hair, and then she had her thrown into the dungeon. Now feeling stronger and more powerful, the young girl was ready to take on the throne again and rule the country with goodness and make her people happy. Of course, she never forgot about the help that the princesses had given her. The very next day, she wrote them a letter of thanks. Because helping each other is the most important key in overcoming difficulty.
Once upon a time, there was a kingdom full of happiness. And in that kingdom lived a king and a queen that had only one wish. And that one wish was to have a child. The king and the queen were very kind people, so they knew in their hearts that one day their wish would come true. And one day soon enough, their wish came true. They were blessed with a baby girl. Because she was as bright as the sun that lighted up the day, they named the little princess Sunshine. The king and the queen decided to have a big ball to celebrate their joy and birth of Sunshine. Everyone was invited, even the fairies living in the mystery forest. But the king and the queen made a big mistake. They forgot to invite one fairy in particular. Everyone from all around the kingdom and the kings and queens from the neighboring kingdoms presented their gifts and best wishes to Sunshine. And last but not least, it was time for the 12 fairies. The fairies gave incredibly unique presents to Sunshine. With their magic wands, they gifted Sunshine with anything she could want in the world. In the end, only 3 fairies remained to give their presents. And they also gave wonderful presents to Sunshine.
May the beauty of the world be with you at all times. Little princess, my gift is eternal happiness. May you never be sad and always happy.
Just as the last fairy was going to present her gift, something very unexpected happened. The whole ballroom was suddenly covered in green smoke. And when the smoke was gone, the black fairy appeared. The king asked who this fairy was, crashing this beautiful ceremony. The other fairies immediately recognized her. It was the evil-hearted Black Fairy. So, I see that everyone is invited. All the people in the kingdom, your friends, kings, queens, and the fairies. But unfortunately, I was not invited. The king apologized for their unpolite behavior. Well, I will not leave this beautiful little princess without a truly unique gift of mine. The most beautiful princess will grow surrounded with happiness, love, and admiration, but on her 16th birthday, just before sunset, she will poke herself with a needle and she'll be gone forever.
Seize that monster!
Yelled out the king. But the Black Fairy disappeared with her evil laughter. It was the last fairy's turn to give her gift. She was not as powerful as the Black Fairy, but she wished for something which could at least lighten up the bad curse.
I cannot prevent the curse, but I can affect the outcome. May you not die when the curse unfolds, but go in a deep sleep and wake up with a kiss of true love. My gift to you.
The king, with the attempt to prevent this bad curse from happening, ordered every needle, sewing machine, or anything that even resembled a needle to be collected and burnt in the courtyard of the castle. With the gifts of the fairies, Princess Sunshine grew as a beautiful and kind child that everybody loved. One day, her dad, the king, ordered 3 fairies to take care and guard Sunshine, which has proven to be a rather difficult task for them. Because Sunshine was not going to be in touch with anyone but the 3 fairies. Sunshine grew up to be a very beautiful young girl with her guardian fairies. Finally, the day arrived. It was the 16th birthday of Princess Sunshine. It was only until the sunset, before Black Fairy's curse was going to unfold. The king and the queen did everything they could to prevent the curse from happening, but they still worried that it would happen anyway. They locked up the beautiful princess in a room in order to protect her. But having no idea what was going on, Sunshine was not pleased with being locked up. Suddenly, a door appeared in the wall. Sunshine was mesmerized by this door she had never seen before, and she heard weird noises coming from behind the door. Curious and unaware of what was going to happen, she entered the door. In the room she entered, there was a woman sewing with her back turned to the door. And Sunshine walked spellbound towards the sewing machine. Just as the sun was setting, the Black Fairy's curse unfolded, and Sunshine reached out to the needle. And at that moment, it happened. With only a touch of the needle, she fell down and dozed in her eternal sleep. And there it was. At sunset, Black Fairy's spell was cast on Sunshine's 16th birthday. They dressed her up with the most beautiful outfit and put her on a bed of flowers. So started the days where Sunshine would be known as the Sleeping Beauty. The king and the queen wanted to stop the pain, so they decided to put everyone in the castle to sleep until the time the princess wakes up. A 100 years passed. One day, a handsome prince was passing nearby, and he saw the castle covered with thorn bushes and ivy. His men told the stories about the castle and the Sleeping Beauty. It really excited the prince, so he decided to go in the castle. The bushes were too thick, and the thorns made it almost impossible to go over. So he drew his sword and started opening his way by cutting up the bushes. Cutting his way through, he finally came to the door, and he saw two guards at the door, sleeping. He opened the door and was stunned by the view. There were people on the floor everywhere he could see. He started to walk around the castle, and he came to the king's room. The king and the queen also were sleeping on their sofa. Then he saw a room with a half-open door. He entered. This was the room where the Sleeping Beauty was sleeping on a beautiful bed of flowers. The prince came next to the bed, looked at the beautiful princess, and leaned over to her ear.
You're the famous Sleeping Beauty. You're so beautiful,
whispered the prince. Feeling overwhelmed with love, he kissed her on her forehead. At that moment, she opened her eyes and saw the handsome prince looking at her. With her awakening, everyone in the castle woke up from their 100 years of sleep. The king and the queen were in a great shock. They woke up and ran to Sunshine's room to see what was going on. And when they saw their beautiful daughter awake, they were full of joy and happiness. The prince asked the Sleeping Beauty to marry him. The princess smiled at him and accepted his proposal. And the king, of course, gave his blessing to the prince, who saved his daughter and his kingdom. They had the most beautiful ceremony anyone had ever seen, and they all lived happily ever after.
Once upon a time, there was a rich man. This man had 3 young daughters. 2 of his daughters were very arrogant and sassy, and the other one was very kind and hardworking. This kind girl's name was Beauty. One day, the rich man got the news that his ships were lost in the storm. He told his daughters that because of this, they could no longer be rich. Beauty was very sad about her father's situation and consoled him. The other two sisters complained about this situation all day. One morning, their father received the news that one of their missing ships had arrived in port.
My daughters, if my ship is still intact, I will bring you presents on the way home. Tell me, what do you want me to bring?
A diamond ring, a ruby stone, a gold bracelet.
And what about you, Beauty?
Just bring me a rose, Daddy. When the father arrived at the port after a long journey, he saw the wrecked state of his ship and was very sad. On his way home, he passed through a dark and cold forest. Lightning flashed in the sky. The trees almost fell from the speed of the wind. The man was so cold and frightened that he wanted some rest. But just then, he noticed a magnificent castle. The man entered the castle.
Hey, is there anyone here?
There was nobody around. Despite this, it was quite bright and warm inside. Moreover, the top of the dining table was filled with delicious food. When the poor man saw the food, he could not resist it and ate them all. While walking around the castle, he saw an empty bedroom and went inside and had a comfortable sleep. When he woke up the next morning, he found new clothes next to him.
This castle must belong to a kind fairy. I wish I could thank him.
When the man was about to leave the castle, he noticed roses in the garden.
I couldn't buy expensive gifts for my daughter, but at least I could take this rose for Beauty.
The man plucked one of the roses. At that moment, a very strong roar was heard. A terrible monster appeared from behind the trees. The man was so scared.
I fed you. I made you sleep comfortably. And you are plucking my roses. Is this how you think? Forgive me, sir. I just wanted to take a rose for my daughter. There is a punishment for what you did. You have to bring me the first person you meet on your way home, or I'll catch you and imprison you for a lifetime.
The man left sadly. Father, who couldn't see anyone along the way, saw that only Beauty was waiting for him when he got home, and their eyes met. So he regretfully told her what happened to him and the beast's will. Hearing this, the other sisters got very angry with Beauty.
If you hadn't asked our father for roses, this never would have happened to us. What if my eyes would meet my father's? What would happen then? I was going to surrender to a beast? Oh no!
I'm so sorry, Daddy. I will do whatever it takes to keep you away from being imprisoned. The man took Beauty with him and went to the beast's castle as he promised. They enter the dining room. Just then, a roar was heard again and the beast came into the hall. Beauty was scared. But the ugly beast spoke very kindly to her.
Your father will be leaving my castle in a little while. And will you continue to stay here voluntarily?
Yes, I will stay here voluntarily. Beauty hugged her father and sent him home. Then she started walking inside the castle and saw a door decorated with roses. Curiously, she entered. A piano on one side, a swing on the other, a huge bookshelf and thousands of books. The room was just like in her dreams. She saw a small note on the table. "My dear Queen, I want to see you happy always. Your wishes are commands for me." Beauty thought she wanted to see her father one more time. Then she went down to the hall for dinner. After a while, the ugly beast came into the hall.
My queen, may I accompany you to dinner?
"You are the owner of this castle. Why are you asking me?"
No. You are the owner of this place, Beauty. If you want, I'll go right away. I'm sure you find me very ugly anyway, don't you?
Beauty was very surprised at the beast's reply and did not know what to say.
I wish we got married and lived a happy life together.
"No, I don't want to marry you." The beast then left the hall. However, at every dinner, he prepared wonderful meals for Beauty and was very kind to her. As the days passed, Beauty realized that she was getting used to the ugly beast and was having a good time with him. Moreover, she was no longer afraid of the beast. One day, Beauty told the beast that she wanted to go to her father because she missed him so much.
Of course you can go, but promise me you'll be back.
"I promise I will be back in 3 days."
Then put this ring on your finger. As soon as you take off the ring, you will find yourself in this castle again.
Beauty put on the ring and went to visit her father. Her father was very happy to see Beauty, but her sisters were very jealous of her.
Your ring is so ugly, and it doesn't look good on you at all.
3 days passed quickly. Beauty stayed there for the 4th day as she had so much fun with her father. However, she had a terrible nightmare in her sleep that night. In her nightmare, the beast was standing in the garden, sad and weary. As soon as she woke up, realizing that she missed him, Beauty immediately took the ring off her finger. Thus, she suddenly found herself in her room in the castle. She rushed down to the garden. The beast was indeed lying in the garden, exhausted with sadness, as she had seen in her nightmare. She came close to him and hugged him. "Wake up, beast! Wake up! If something happens to you, I will never forgive myself." The beast opened his eyes for a moment.
Beauty, I thought you wouldn't be back anymore. I became sick with sadness and became weak.
I realized I missed you while I was away, and I came to you voluntarily because I love you. I want to live a happy life in this castle with you. At that moment, everywhere was covered with shimmering lights. She was looking around and was astonished at what was happening. When she turned her face to the beast again, she saw that there was a handsome prince in his place. "Huh? Oh, who are you? Where is the beast?"
The beast is me, Beauty. I was under the influence of an evil spell. If you hadn't told me you loved me, I would have remained an ugly beast for the rest of my life.
Beauty has added happiness to her happiness, thanks to her good heart and true love. After that day, the handsome prince and Beauty lived happily ever after in the bright castle.
Cinderella's Story. Once upon a time, in a land far, far away,
lived a beautiful girl named Cinderella. After Cinderella's kind mother died, her father married Lady Puffy. Lady Puffy had 2 arrogant, jealous, and quarrelsome daughters, just like herself. They would fight for hours, even over something as simple as a hairbrush.
Ah! Stop it! I said stop it! Give it back! It's mine! No!
One day, Cinderella's father had to take a long journey. Lady Puffy took this chance to give all the hard work in the house to poor Cinderella. Cleaning the whole house, carrying wood to the fireplace, and preparing meals took up all of Cinderella's time. Despite her hard work, Lady Puffy and her daughters were cruel and proud.
Mother, Cinderella is filthy. Don't let her eat in the same room with us. Don't let her sleep in our room. We're having nightmares.
You heard what my beautiful daughters have said. Go and find a place to sleep in the attic. Poor Cinderella settled in a dusty old room in the attic. Out of her small window, she looked down to the garden. And from time to time, she would talk to a snow-white pigeon. Why, hello, sweet pigeon. As the days went on by, while cleaning up her room in the attic, Cinderella met 2 little mice.
Who are you little guys? Hi, I'm Cheddar. I am Mozzarella.
And I am Cinderella. You little guys love to eat cheese, don't you? I will prepare a delicious meal for you.
Yes. We are starving. We haven't been able to go to the kitchen for hours. There is a mean, hairy, sharp monster down there.
That nasty cat, Papu. First thing tomorrow morning, I'm going to prepare a delicious breakfast for you two. The next morning, Cinderella went to the kitchen without making any noise. The mean cat, Papu, waited in front of the tiny mouse hole in the kitchen to hunt Cheddar and Mozzarella. Cinderella silently took some pieces of cheese and headed to the attic. But then, Lady Puffy's daughters caught her.
What are you holding in your hand? And where are you going with it?
It's just some cheese for breakfast.
Mom!
Cinderella is stealing our food. I'm stealing? I would never steal anything. A thief and a liar. What an evil girl you are. The little mice went downstairs and started to run around the kitchen to scare the evil sisters.
Ah! Oh no! A mouse! There's a mouse in the house! Mom, I'm scared! Not one mouse, it's 2! Ah!
Lady Puffy was just about to catch the mice when there was a knock at the door. The royal ambassador arrived.
His Majesty the Royal Prince has prepared a grand ball at the castle tomorrow night. All the young ladies around the country are invited to this ball.
As soon as they heard about the grand ball, Jezebel and Cassandra ran with huge excitement to their rooms and started to pick dresses for this important evening. Also, Lady Puffy wanted her daughters to look beautiful. So, the evil stepsisters forced Cinderella to prepare beautiful ball dresses for them. The next day arrived. Cinderella was very tired. Her little friends tried to wake her up.
Cinderella, wake up! Wake up! You have to go to the ball!
But I don't even have a dress. The only dress I have is dirty.
Close your eyes, Cinderella. We have a surprise for you.
Her little friends took Cinderella to the middle of the room. The white pigeon lifted the cover of the wall with its beak.
Ta-da! Ta-da!
I can't believe it! It looks amazing! Cinderella put on her new dress and did her hair, and finally went downstairs. But her evil stepsisters saw Cinderella and went crazy with jealousy. Lady Puffy didn't want Cinderella to go to the ball when she saw that she was prettier than her own daughters. So she threw a bowl of beans into the fireplace in the living room for Cinderella to pick up. If you can pick up the beans out of the ashes and put them back into the bowl within 5 minutes, you can come to the ball with us. Cinderella wanted to go to the ball so much that she began to pick up the beans. Her little friends saw her situation and came to help. Within 5 minutes, they picked up all the beans and put them back into the bowl. Cinderella ran after Lady Puffy, who was already leaving, and showed the full bowl to her. Lady Puffy still did not want Cinderella to go to the ball, so this time she used Cinderella's dirty dress as an excuse, and they left Cinderella in the house and went on to the prince's castle. Poor Cinderella was very sad. She sat down in the garden and wept and cried right under a hazelnut tree that her mother had planted long ago. And just then, the hazelnut tree began to shake and to shine, and a beautiful fairy appeared in front of Cinderella.
My name is Leabelle, and I am here to help you. Don't be sad. You will go to that ball as well. But how am I supposed to go to the ball like this? Leave that to me. I just need a pumpkin. The other things I need are already here.
Cinderella came back, holding a pumpkin in her hands. Fairy Leabelle began to wave her magic wand around and turned the pumpkin into a beautiful coach. The mice into very nice horses, and the pigeon into a well-dressed coach driver. Cinderella couldn't believe what she saw.
But how did you do this, Leabelle?
The fairy waved her magic wand again and put Cinderella in a beautiful blue dress. On her feet appeared sparkling glass slippers.
I look like a princess now. Thank you, Leabelle. Now it's time for you to go to the ball. Hurry up.
The fairy warned Cinderella before she headed to the ball.
But don't forget, you need to be back at midnight, or else the magic will be gone and everything will be as it was before.
Cinderella listened to the fairy carefully and finally headed to the castle. The pumpkin coach stopped in front of the big castle. Cinderella, with her overwhelming beauty, entered the castle. The guests of the ball saw Cinderella and wondered who this beautiful young lady was. Neither Lady Puffy nor her daughters realized that this beautiful girl was Cinderella. Prince Leo moved towards Cinderella and fell in love at first sight.
Beautiful young lady, may I have this dance, please?
Cinderella was mesmerized by the magical dance with Prince Leo, so that she forgot about the time. When the clock was just about to strike 12, She remembered the fairy's warning.
You need to be back at midnight or else.
Cinderella left the prince back and ran out of the castle quickly.
Where are you going? I don't even know your name.
Cinderella ran down the castle's stairs and all of a sudden lost one of her glass slippers. Unfortunately, she did not have time to go back and take it, so she ran to the coach as fast as she could and left the castle.
Find the beautiful owner of this lost slipper. If necessary, every girl in the country shall try on this shoe.
As soon as the clock struck 12, everything turned back to what it was before. Cinderella went back to her room in the attic. She thought about the magical night she had had with Prince Leo and realized that she fell in love. But it seemed to be impossible that the prince would recognize her with her old dirty clothes. Time passed, and the prince had a huge mansion built next to the castle for the precious glass slipper. All the young girls living in the next country visited this place to try the slipper on. Even Lady Puffy and her daughters visited the famous mansion, but did not take Cinderella with them. You stay at home. It is impossible that the shoe belongs to you.
Right, the shoe is going to fit Cassandra or to me. But I also am a young girl living in this country. I have the right to try on the shoe as well.
Lady Puffy did not even listen to Cinderella. She locked her up in the house and left with her daughters. Of course, the glass slippers did neither fit to Cassandra's feet nor to Jezebel's.
If I try only a little bit more, I think it will fit.
At nighttime, when the mansion's lights were sparkling, Cinderella made it out of the house, thanks to mozzarella and cheddar. She arrived at the majestic mansion and walked towards the sparkling glass slipper. As she was just about to try on the shoe, Prince Leo stepped into the room.
Stop! Don't move! You're going to damage the shoe.
No! It's my shoe! It fits me perfectly!
She is telling the truth. She is Cinderella.
Cinderella courageously put on the shoe in front of Prince Leo, and he realized that the shoe fits perfectly
that night
to Cinderella.
You are the beautiful girl I danced with on that night. May I know your name?
My name is Cinderella, Your Highness.
Will you marry me, Cinderella?
Cinderella happily said yes to the prince, whom she fell in love with. They got married in the big castle and lived happily ever after.